Max Homa is with us now at the 107th PGA Championship. Max, a great day for you. How would you summarize your second round?
Yeah, thank you. It's good. I played quite similarly to yesterday. It's a lot easier. There's like no wind. Just scored better, made a couple long putts, hit a driver randomly to foot and chipped in. So yesterday I played awesome. Felt like I had really good control. I just couldn't really get the ball close to the hole, didn't pull the right club a lot, and had a poor finish. So it was kind of, in a way, nice to be able to play in the morning and just get to go immediately because I knew the game was good. So didn't know I was going to shoot 7 under, but I will take it.
That's great. Thanks. We'll take some questions, starting over here on mic 2.
Max, you've said kind of throughout the struggles that when you're back home, you're swinging it well, the swing feels good, but just competitively, how does the swing feel compared to, say, where it was at the Players to now?
Yeah, much better. I mean, there's been weeks on the road and at home where it's felt poor. I've hit a lot of golf balls in the last 7 months, like an absurd amount of golf balls. So you get these stretches that you might just groove it. I've kind of realized that as bad as it's been, I'm quite good at golf to play decent from some of the positions I've been in my golf swing. But it felt like about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, John Scott came out for a few days, and we really dove into I got more honest with him about what I thought we should do, and it's gonna hopefully be one of those things I remember. I said, I think I should swing it like this, and he said, okay, show me, and I showed him. He goes, okay, let's mold off of that, let's make that the model. And it felt more like my old golf swing back in 22, 23-ish. I guess 22, 23, and I kind of knew the misses better. My hands just worked through the shot better. And so, about 2.5 weeks ago, I was like, okay, I see the misses. It's been hard. I felt like I've been playing with a foreign swing at times. Like I said, I'll have weeks at home where I'm like, it's not bad, but I definitely think it's just because you can kind of time it. Everyone out here is so good, and we've played so long. You can make things work if they're not perfect. But last week was the first week where I played where I was like, okay, feels, I hate to say the old me because I don't like, thinking like that, but it just felt like I was plotting my way around golf course different, and I was hitting enough good shots to play well.
What did it take for you to say, hey, be proactive with this is what I want to do, as opposed to maybe just listening?
It's always difficult because I've felt so broken. And I felt like whatever the swing change was going to be some grand thing, like something I've never done before. And we were just not finding anything on this range session. Everything he says makes sense, and it's very right, but it didn't feel like me. It was close to the positions and everything were on what I wanted to do, but I was I just said I want to try to do it this way, and just let me know if that looks okay. And like I said, it was immediately we're going to do that, and let's just work off of that as the template. So it was hard for me because I don't want to John, I've been very lucky, working with John and working with Mark. There's brilliant people, and you listen to brilliant people, but at some point you have to maybe get in there and just say, hey, this technically might be right, but it doesn't feel like I'm going to be able to do this. And he was really great at that, and kind of ebbing off of that a little bit. So like I said, it feels more like me. It looks more like when I swung at my best, I think.
We'll go next to mic 1, followed by 8 and 16.
Max, your club head speed and ball speed were 5 miles per hour faster today than your averages this season. What's going on?
Yeah, they were last week too. I was touching 85. I work with Jason Glass now, and he's been amazing. The problem is I haven't been in a good position to I've been feeling inhibited as I get into impact the first 4 months of the season. But at home it's fast when I have there's no trees and water and all that. So it's been fast, but it's just there's been something stuck in the golf swing, or I've been stuck in the golf swing, so I haven't been able to let it go. It was unintentional. So then last week it's pretty apparent when I'm swinging the club well because the numbers jump up in speed. It just means that I'm able to just keep turning. When I'm swinging bad, I stall out and jump. So, and then you get a little confidence, you start swinging a little bit harder. But, it's been, I think that's really what it is. We got to been working a lot with Ben Showman at Cobra on this driver. I wouldn't advise switching your clubs and your coach at the same time or your golf swing, but I did that. And we had a driver for a little while that was kind of almost playing into the miss better. And then last week in Philly, I was swinging it really well. And then we decided to build the driver that fit my swing better now that we knew this was going to kind of be what we're going to do going forward. And then all of a sudden, a lot of things clicked. I didn't feel like I was fighting anything. So I think that's where the speed kind of jumped.
Max, new caddy the last few weeks. Can you just talk to me a little bit about that? Do you think maybe a bit of fresh perspectives helped? Just what's that been like having a new caddy out there the last few weeks?
Yeah, Bill has been awesome. It's really hard to change caddies. I was talking to my wife about it last night. I mean, you're in like a full relationship, like day one. You're out there with them, first day is probably 8 hours. It's not exactly a normal first date. So it can be tricky, Joe and I worked for so long and so well together that, it's never going to be exactly like that. So we've been trying to kind of find our own groove. Bill is really amazing at the psychology of golf and talking to me and keeping me positive when I start to go a little dark, especially at Augusta this year. He was amazing. I had 2 rounds where it was because of him of what we did. And then now that I'm playing a bit better the last 2 weeks, it's trying to find our rhythm on like clubs and this and that. So yeah, it's a learning curve, but I've really enjoyed being around him. He's a Bay Area sports fan, which is hard, but that's probably his worst quality.
Hey, Max, you talked earlier about the conditions today with the wind, but as far as on the ground, in particular with the fairways and with mud balls, how did it kind of differ playing this morning compared to maybe yesterday afternoon and what you were seeing as far as ball flights and what you were seeing in the fairway?
Yeah, I think we got really lucky with our wave. I would assume because we had a bit more mud yesterday in the afternoon when it was drier, I'd imagine those guys had it a lot worse in the morning and than we did this morning. It was still a little bit on there, like on 2 I got one decent, but not nearly as bad as yesterday. Yesterday I had a couple that weren't great. I particularly like playing the ball down. I think it just causes chaos for the fans. I mean, it's supposed to be entertaining, so seeing people who can look like robots for a while look completely silly isn't the worst, except when it's you. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's pretty remarkable what they've done to this golf course. I mean, my hat is tipped to everyone here because we're walking in puddles all the way up till Wednesday. So still pretty great. There's certain spots, fairway on 8's lowest spot, I feel like on the golf course, and that gets a bit muddy and you're hitting a wedge. It's a little scary, but I mean, I can imagine by Saturday, Sunday, this place is going to be pretty much pristine. So ball's not bouncing a ton in the fairway, but it's got a little bit more life.
Does it change your approach knowing that you're going to have different conditions in the fairway compared to what you're seeing on the greens with kind of how firm those have been?
No, it's just tricky. It's kind of like playing at Riv where with the Kikuya, like the greens are rock solid, but if you land it 1 inch short of the green, it ain't bouncing up. So you just have to be really precise and thoughtful about what you're going to do and what shot you're going to hit. Yeah, the greens are incredible. So for how much rain they've gotten, especially. So I don't think it changes much. It's just, it just requires a little bit more precision.
12, 7, and then 3, please.
Max, you spoke a little bit about the work you've been doing with the driver. Looking at the strokes gained stats just for today, it's kind of off the charts. You're +3 or something crazy. I know 14 accounts for a lot of those, but on a day like today, I mean, do the stats reflect how you feel? Did you just feel like super confident and red hot with the driver? Does it jive with kind of how it felt out there?
Yeah, the last 6 rounds I've driven it really well. Going back to Philly, I don't know what I finished last week, but it was quite good. But yeah, like I said, we built a driver that wants to go left, and my golf swing makes me want to feel free to cut it. So it's just matching up nicely. I feel like I've picked up on the misses. Getting to play a hole like 18 and hit driver twice and bomb it down there's something I haven't really done before. So it's just I feel comfy for sure.
And then looking at a different part of the game, approach is probably where you struggled the most statistically this year. But again, today was really good. Is there with the irons? What's happening that's different the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, no, I mean the last. It's in a good spot directionally. I've been struggling getting the right distances and picking the right shot. Yesterday, with how tricky the wind was, I thought I struck the irons really well. I just didn't really get anything close to the hole. So sometimes stats can be a little misleading's the wrong word because like the number's right and I needed to do better, but it's not like I left there and went and hit balls on the range and tried to figure it out. It's just got to be a little bit more committed to your numbers, trust, what you're doing, pick the right spots to be aggressive type thing. So not much has changed. I've always been a good iron player. So like I said, some weeks when you see the numbers are bad, I try to make sure I go back and not try and reinvent the wheel, make sure, hey, I didn't hit a couple wedges close. I hit that one, yesterday I had a 5-iron that looked like it was going to go in the hole, goes over the back of the green. So just things to be aware of. But yesterday I felt it was a lot trickier with the wind. So today felt a lot more like target practice a little bit for a major.
Gotcha.
Max, it's been a little bit of a trying year, but how do you explain, first of all, what you've done in the majors, how well you've played? Is there a different mindset or just any explanation why you think you played better there? And secondly, I guess we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about 14 and where that ranks in terms of your best shots you've ever hit.
14 was great. It was not the best shot I ever hit when I was aiming at the, 1 yard inside the right bunker. So I towed it like the perfect amount. I looked up, slightly scared of it going left, but obviously it was still a good drive. But you don't hit it there intentionally unless you're, Scotty or something. So, but yeah, as far as the year goes, I was told for a long time I couldn't play in majors. So now all of a sudden I'm being asked about why I play well only in majors. So I don't really have an answer for that one. It's just golf, I guess.
And that 14, did you see how good it was from the tee, and what'd you think walking up?
No, the claps from the green were helpful to know I was probably putting. But yeah, that was one of the rare occasions in golf where the further you walk up to the green, the closer it got. So very thankful to only have a little 1.5 footer for eagle. So yeah, like I said, yesterday didn't get a ton out of some good shots, and to get a lot more out of shots today was, felt like a big win.
Mark?
Hey, Max, I just have two unrelated. One is what went into Bill and choosing Bill and after you left? Jeff?
Yeah, I didn't really know who to go to because I'd never thought about it. Obviously, caught me by surprise a little bit. So I'd never thought about, I always thought I'd end my career when I'm 60 and Joe's, 65, somehow still looping. Hopefully, he was going to go the fluff route and caddy forever. So I never thought about it. So had 2 weeks off and was kind of scrambling the first few days. I ended up calling Bones, who's a good friend of mine, and asked him what he thought. And that was the first name he brought up. He thought he was a very underrated caddy, and he thought we would gel really well. So obviously we put a lot of faith and trust in Bones. He's as knowledgeable as they get. So gave Bill a call. Fortunately, he was free. And we got to start working in San Antonio.
And just unrelated, it's always been your way to be very transparent, let people in, which is rare for a lot of athletes, professionals. Do you find that helps you? Is it almost therapeutic to some degree to let people in rather than, with your feelings and stuff like that, rather than shutting everything out and keeping it inside?
No, it probably doesn't help me at all, if I'm being honest. But I don't know. I grew up, a fan of sports, as so many are, and I always found it really, like interviews and things, to be so thought-provoking as a fan, to like get a little insight. And like I said, we are entertainers, and without the fans, we would be just playing golf with the buddies, with some buddies. So I just try to be myself, and sometimes I wish I would probably keep some things in, but at the end of the day, we owe a lot to them. So it's not so hard to be transparent. It doesn't hurt me in any way.
Got time for a few more. Let's go over to Mike 6 and then Mike 5.
Max, I've often considered you one of the better explainers of things in this sport, and I'm curious if, as the scores aren't matching the feels, or the feels with your coach aren't maybe they're not matching what he's seeing, has any part of this been like particularly hard to explain to people?
Yeah, a lot of it has been, especially like my wife, she, will ask me on days at home, like, how was today? And I'll say, great. And then we'll leave the next day and I'll shoot a zillion, and she doesn't get it. And it's hard to explain because I can give you the technical version of all of it, but like at the end of the day, it is odd. I'll play some really good practice rounds. Waste management in particular was the best I've probably ever driven the ball in my life, and even in the first round on Thursday, and I think I shot 6 or 7 over. So it's just a hard game. You know, I heard Matt Fitzpatrick was doing an interview, and he explained it. Like, the weeks he's driven the ball well, it seemed like he's putt awful, or he hit his irons awful. And then the weeks he's ironed it great and putted great, he's driven it awful. So it's just been, it is hard to explain. The technical is that it just gets faster when you play, and the positions I've been in and club being behind me, you know, I can figure it out here and there and get into grooves, and if a feel gets going, I can repeat it a lot. But you start getting nervous, trees on the left, trees on the right, water, whatever, certain winds, it messes with all. You don't want a lot of timing in your golf swing. People wonder why Scotty's so amazing. I mean, he just doesn't have a lot of timing. He's incredibly athletic and aware of where the golf club is, and I have not been. So you get under some stress and things. It just doesn't become as easy as, like, I call it like field practice when you're on a range where you hit a bow and you rake another one over and you just try to time it a little better. So that's it has been hard to explain, but at the end of the day, there's also been bad days at home. So it's not like it's completely foreign when I show up to a golf tournament. Didn't feel mental. It just was, you know, a little bit of mental with a lack of confidence mixed with a golf swing that wasn't super repeatable.
Bob?
Max, just two separate things. You mentioned Colin Bones. Did you ask him if he was interested by chance?
No. You know, Bones, if he wanted to, would have offered, I feel like. But no, Bones has been one of the best buddies I could have. We go to Thanksgiving at his house. His family has been amazing to us. So, you know, he doesn't, I think he likes where his life's at right now. And I don't think I would never ask him to be a part of like this massive grind and rebuild. So it'd be a little different if I was, you know, when he came back and worked with Justin, who's, you know, one of the best players on the planet. But yeah, it could have been fun. But at the end of the day, Bones and I are buddies, and I would just kind of just call him to lean on him and ask him for some advice.
Also, it sounds like you've made a couple of breakthroughs since the Masters, but was the Masters a confidence boost in any way, having not done much, and then obviously 12th after everything at a place like that?
Not really. It felt a bit like smoke and mirrors. That golf course is rare for us in a season. You can drive it quite poorly if you leave it on the right sides, and if you can mentally stay in it and short game it well, iron it well, and putt it well, you can actually kind of make up for a lot of things, which is rare. You play a PGA Championship or like a U.S. Open or something, and if you're off the fairway, it's grind the whole way through. So Augusta kind of leaned into what I've been doing well, which is the other aspects of the game. But it was it was really nice just because, I mean, especially then, it felt like the last time I might ever play the Masters. So our house knew the 12th number real well. So it wasn't, I wouldn't say a confidence booster, but it was just fun, and golf just hasn't been that fun. So it was cool to have a very fun week. See your name on the leaderboard at Augusta when things have been miserable was awesome.
Thank you.
We'll do two more at 14 and 10.
Max, obviously, playing well and having your swing and confidence in that is the most important thing. But having that and coming here to a place that you're comfortable with, how big is this combination for you this week?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the difference of last week and this week. If I had to guess, is just I know the leaves really well, or I know the leaves, I guess. I feel comfy on the greens. Just comfort helped when you're going through this a little bit. And so like I said, last week I swung it great and did everything really awesome. I just didn't score, and it felt like I was coming to a golf course I knew how to score on. So things like 18, I knew where to leave it. I didn't love the number we had. Didn't really panic, left it where I wanted to. Obviously, you get a bit lucky to chip in, but those kinds of things, it helps blend I guess, like, lack of comfort at times. You come someplace where you know kind of what you're going to do all day on pretty much every pin. So I think that helps a lot, especially as I started to feel really good. I knew I was going to come in here and swing it nicely. I just needed to find some comfort. So this place does that for me.
Hey, Max. When you won here in 19, you talked about the importance of some really hard conversations with Les. And then in recent years, you talked about the importance of really hard conversations with Mark, and now, John Scott, really hard conversations. What's kind of your, player coach philosophy and taking coaching like any other professional athlete? Like, how do you kind of view like that component of your journey?
Yeah, I've been just really lucky because all three names you mentioned have just been incredibly hard workers. They care so much about me, both as a golfer and a person. So I just lean on them as much as I can. There are times, like I said prior, where it's difficult to almost bring up an idea, and be very bullish on it, because I believe so much of what they say, and I don't think anything any of them have ever said was wrong, but it just might not match what's going on in my head or what it feels like. So it is difficult. I don't know if I have a philosophy on it. I doubt I'm the right person to ask, but I guess I just feel like I've been lucky that there's always just an open line of conversation. I call a lot, especially when I'm going through it, I call a lot of days on my drives home from practice and go over some ideas. And, I'm hopeful to stop having to call John so much for his own sake. But yeah, it's just, I'm an overthinker. So when it comes to golf, I can overthink a swing fix or a problem probably too much. And then they have to kind of deal with that, because I would say I'm the common denominator in all those difficult conversations. But like I said, I'm very lucky that they've all been so passionate and open to just kind of anything. And it's worked with all of them at some point. And I think I'm just going to try to learn, especially from the last, my stint with Mark, to refine and not have any freak out weeks when it's bad, because I feel like I did that a couple years ago, and it kind of put me or put him behind the eight ball. So I think now that we kind of know what we're getting at, I'm going to back off the phone calls a little bit.
Thanks for your time, Max. We
Thank y'all.
appreciate
Have
it.
a good day.